3 months ago, a Huntsville mother spoke out against inappropriate action by a police officer with the University of Alabama in Huntsville. The officer stopped her teenage son for a cracked taillight and ended up saying things you would not hear in a routine stop. After his story was shared by thousands online, the university announced this week that steps have been taken for reform. Our Sydney Stallworth has those details and caught up with the mother.
He was pulled over and bullied.
At 11 p.m. on October 3rd, then 17-year-old Caleb Crutcher, a local high school student, was pulled over by a UAH campus police officer for an apparent cracked taillight. During the stop, the officer accused Crutcher of having drugs and asked if he had, quote, a dead prostitute in the car.
I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that there was a cultural problem. It wasn't a police officer problem. It was a culture problem in that police precinct. But I don't think anyone would argue that we don't have a culture problem in our country.
The university has announced the former chief of police, former police captain, and the officer involved in the October 3rd stop no longer work for UAH.
It is very good to see that the conversation is still happening. It is never our desire to see anyone lose their job, but accountability is a good thing. Action is a good thing.
The university released an action plan on January 12th. In it, they say officer training will be expanded in 2021, and UAH students, faculty, and staff will serve on a newly created police advisory council. Shonda Crutcher tells me Caleb is doing better in the months following the incident, but the hurt still lingers within their family.
Does it make us feel safer to know that someone who obviously has executive judgment issues, that has our address, that knows where Caleb works, has been terminated? Definitely not. I think there is so much room for conversation and understanding of perspective, but does it make me feel good as a mom to know that standards of human decency are nonpartisan and universal? Definitely. It helps me to teach my children the important lessons, but we have a long way to go.
University representatives told me they are not able to interview at this time, but they did refer me to the UAH PD action plan. You can find that link on rocketcitynow.com. Putting the Valley first, I'm Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.